Today in the expo we are testing 4 or less DOF systems.
Let's kick it off with a D-box based 4 actuator rig. It was turned down quite a lot, so I couldn't manage to test it properly. The movement was subtle yet informative and on time. At various places we are greeted by this cool linear motor. Building a belt tensioner based on magnetic linear motors actually makes perfect sense. The motors are virtually silent and quite strong and snappy, but they had issues with the software. Only the directional effects were working properly. When braking, the effect was coming in belt tensioner like a second later. Pity that we couldn't test this belt tensioner properly as it has a lot of potential. The rig itself was based on the Champion actuators, which have 75mm of travel. It was pretty light and snappy, and it was likable to drive. It's a nice compact setup with relatively low total weight. Let's move on to the bigger actuators now. This is a cubic based system. The control box is nicely tucked under the rig and it's very well arranged. On the motion side it doesn't look dramatic, and frankly it felt the same way. I think it was not exactly properly set up. I can say the same for the Moza M Booster pedal. I was expecting more from both systems. Both of the systems are powerful and I expect they should deliver much more. At least I got some motion here, like trying to drift a car which shouldn't drift, and of course I crashed. Moving on to these small actuators which seem to be all the rage these days. They are based on small 60mm flange motors which are driven by 48 volts. You can see how small the control box is, and definitely they should do something about cable management on this rig. And here is a tubular frame sporting the same thermal take motion system. Both of those systems, as you can see, have the front actuator quite far in the front, so you don't get much pitch. Then we went to Thermaltake's booth to check how they set up their own system. It has epic screens, nice rig, quite flashy setup. And this was my second worst experience on the expo. The system was not properly set up and driving it was not nice at all. Better not to comment on the cable management as well. There is the same system but with OEM branding. This actually drove very well because somebody paid attention and set up the SimHub software quite properly. Here is another take on the small actuators. These ones feature small motors with built-in servo drivers. They are manufactured by Sim Reactor. Feel the power. You can see they are also using different 60 series profiles to hold the actuators together. A lot of 3D printed parts which is not exactly to my liking, but they have a belt tension. All of those were small form factor motion systems suitable for not so heavy rigs, with custom controller and driven by SimHub. And finally we checked the COG SSH implementation of motion, which uses big actuator and is driven by customized SRS software. The actuators are very silent and this system is very close to what I have at home. Performed exactly as I expected such system should. It can drive heavy loads like this 2-person rig for example.